You are looking at the newly updated Just Flight BAe 146 in beautiful Air Wisconsin United Express colors, retro livery. How you doing, everybody? CJ here. I'm your classic jet sim pilot, and we are continuing our 146 adventures today with a classic route on the 146, Denver to Aspen. Now, Aspen, I'm pretty sure is likely is a captain only / special qual airport. I am not a captain on the 146, nor am I specially qualified on the 146, and I have never flown into Aspen in the sim. So this ought to be kind of fun. You might get to see a crash. Who knows? Nah, we're not going to crash, but we are going to have fun in the 146 today, and Just Flight did a bang-up job in making this a 2024 native product. If you haven't given it a try, highly recommended. I am a Just Flight customer. They did not furnish this. I purchased it quite a while ago, and I am just thrilled with it. I loved it when it was just in 2020, and now it's even better in 2024 with all the things and updates that 2024 brings. So I haven't done anything except load the airplane. I loaded it instantly, so technically we are fueled and loaded and ready to go. Just got to go through the pre-flight action because I wanted to get to it. So let's do it. Let's do the safety check. All the fuel is off. The speed brakes are down. Flaps are up. Radar is off and tilted all the way up. Gear handle is in the down position. Windshield wipers are off. Battery voltage is good. Let's get the batteries on. External power is clean, so we'll turn that on. We'll go ahead and do the APU start test, or APU fire test. There's the bell and 2 lights, and the 2 on the annunciator. Looks good. The APU gen can come on. And I think we are ready to start it. So let's do that. After about 97% or so, the gen should come online. APU power is available. So we can bring the AC off, the external power off. We can have the GPU removed, and we can go through the rest of our setup. Let's see how much of this I can remember. Yaw dampers come on, the masters come on, ground stays in both, brake fans can go to auto, yellow and green lift spoilers come on, anti-skid comes on. Hydraulic pumps stay off. We can test the DC pump. Let's see. We are at 2,500 pounds. So let's turn the pump on. We should see that come up to about 3,000. Yep, there it is. Pump works. Excellent. So we can turn that off. Now we can turn on the AC pump and watch the yellow system pressure come up. And then we can turn on the PTU, and that'll help power the green hydraulic system. Looks good. We can turn those all off. Center fuel transfer tank comes, transfer pump comes on, although we don't have any anything in there. The bus ties are in auto. The standby inverter, standby generator are armed. We can turn the galley power on, the APU gen is on, the other 2 generators are off. We can arm the flight deck lights. We don't have to worry about the starter yet. Continuous ignition we can leave off for right now. Engine anti-ice comes on for the start. The heat stays off, although we could bring the screen heat on, I believe, like most airplanes. The ice detector can come on. Fasten seatbelt sign can come on. No smoking light can come on. Arm the cabin. Nav lights high intensity. We can turn the APU air on and power pack 2 today. Test the lights. All look good. Now we can come across the top. Turn the radios on. Okay, so our route of flight today. In fact, let's bring it up so you can see it. We'll also use the checklist here in a second. Unload. Denver to Aspen. We're heading up to Mile High. So we'll depart, come back across Mile High, and then J60 to Red Table. And then we shoot the approach. It's not that far. I mean, it's a long drive, but it's not terribly far. So, we're going to take off on 17 right today, so the runway is right here. And Red Table is 114.7, so we can put that in. And we're probably going to have an inbound course. Oh, I was already out of something like, well, something northish. And then our heading out of Red Table, or out of Mile High, on the airway is 248. So we can set that in number 2 as a reminder. $248 and 114.7. Okay, we're gonna go up to 190. No. West is even. Let's call it 180. For the short flight. Okay. I think I have everything set there. I'll turn the flight directors on. Set it to 10 degrees nose up. And then our heading out of here on 17 right. $173. So we can put that. There's 173. Okie doke. Let's lose that for the time being. Oh, we don't have the oxygen on. Let's try that. On. Well, that's a pretty sad sounding. Oh, that's not what I want. Oh. Okay. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of this for the time being. Test. We got our instrument lights. Let me turn up our panel lights. Flood lighting. Coming across. No unusual flags. No nothing. Everything looks good. Yaw dampers can come on. Again, no flags here. We can test the... Looks good. Come back out so we don't get warnings during the start.
Pull up. Pull up.
Turn on the comm radios, even though we're not talking ATC today. There's our config warning. We're on the yellow system. Brakes are set. We're at 2,000 on the squawk, which is where we want to be. Brake temp, we can test at 750. It all lights up. Looks good. Alright, what have I forgotten? Let's try to figure it out. Airplane. Checklist. Pre-flight. Gears down, radars off, transponders in standby, in and up, smoking signs on, no smoking sign is on, nav lights are on, bat 1 and 2, parking brake is set, yellow, master switches are all on, ground ignition is, both, I think. Yeah, I had it set to both because we're doing a cold start. Anti-skid is on, lift spoilers are on, AC/DC bus ties are in auto, standby inverter and generator are both armed. Generators 1 and 4 are off. Galley shed is on to galley. APU gen on. Fuel pumps. Ow, I didn't do my fuel pump. Yeah, it'll siphon, but good idea to have it on. Engine fire handles are all in. We've done our ground test with the APU anyway. APU air and packs are on. We got 3 greens in the landing gear. We tested the master warning system. Overhead annunciators are tested. Cabin emergency light on. We're going to skip all the ground tests. DC pump has been tested. AC pump has been tested. Flight deck lights are on. Yaw dampers are on. Oxygen masks are tested. Alright. So now we can do our before start. Departure briefings complete. VHF nav radios are on. Comm radios are on. Brake pressure we checked. Hydraulics are all off for the start. Off, off, off. Fuel center transfer is in auto. Ice detect we turned on. Seatbelt sign is on. Fuel quantity is checked. I wish they would convert these into pounds. The OFP says we need block fuel is 10,000 pounds, 5-ish thousand kilograms. That's about where we're at. Flight data recorder is good enough. Altimeter's set. The ground op switch. They want us to go in on it, so we'll do that. Oh, I didn't test the TMS system, so let's do that. We'll run it through its test. Excellent. And we want takeoff. Outside, what was the temperature? I already forgot what the temperature was. The temp here in Denver, -6. Oof. It's cold. -6. 840. We're going to do a flaps 18 takeoff. So that sets all of our bugs. 1829, we're at 79,000 pounds. And it set our N1 at 93.2. Yep. Which will be our doors and equipment closed. Aircraft. Everything is closed. We can remove the chocks. And we are ready to start. So we'll turn on the beacon. The bacon. Beacon on. Pax and APU air are all off. Engine anti-ice is all on. Fuel pumps come on. TMS gets turned off for start. Engine start, norm, master switch on. Let's get the push going. Here they come. Okay, ready to start. That's about the quickest I've ever got this thing up. 16 minutes in. Not bad. Of course, we didn't have to board and fuel.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
Ah.
Departure checks completed. Bypass pin inserted. Locking gear.
Okay, we are going to push. What direction? Nose left. What we want. So let's do that. Nose left.
Release parking brakes, please.
Brakes
Commencing
are
push.
released. Ready to push.
All engines clear. Start at will.
Okay, we can go to norm, start master on, 4. As soon as our nose is clear of the jetway, we'll commence the startup. I do enjoy starting 4 engines. I know it's boring, but just something about it. Here we go. We got N2. %. There's our fuel. There's our EGT. Good acceleration. Looks like a nice cool start so far. Excellent. We can now start engine 3.
Please set parking brakes.
There's light off, number 3. Good start. Number 3. Let's
Tow
start
truck
number
disconnected.
2.
Bypass pin removed. Left is clear. Right is clear.
Looking for 10% on that N2. There it is. Whoop. Wrong throttle. There's light off. These gauges look pretty good, don't they? Look at that. Pretty cool. Good start. And number 1. Six, 8, 10. Fuel flow, light off. And here we go. All right, looks like a good start to me. Off, start power's there. We can turn back on the APU air, turn on both, turn on the generators. Turn on the hydraulic pumps. Pumps, air, we've got fuel going. Looks good to me. What am I missing? Oh, well, we can certainly set flaps. Here they come. Let's see what I missed. Three, two, one. After start. Start power goes to norm. Start selector and master both off. Engine anti-ice is off. I guess we can turn that off since we don't need it. Gen 1 and 4 and brake fans were already in auto. 2 and 3 hydraulics are on. AC pump and PTU auto and on. I did not do that. AC pump auto on. Heaters all go on. I should know that. APU air and packs are on. Engine air off. TMS goes to on and takeoff. On, takeoff. Transponders, TARA, taxi lights, and brakes. Before takeoff is next. Transponder. Taxi lights. Brakes. Here we go. Oh, interesting. Well, sorry folks, in my rebinding Bravo throttle. Let's reverse that inverted axis or axis. Go back. Search. Invert the axis. Go back. Save and back. Resume. There we go. Okay. Now, let's try it. I was wondering why I was accelerating so hard. Okay, there's our brake test. Well, we know the brakes work because it kept us from flying off the ramp. Alright, 17 right is right off the end of this ramp here. Right off of Charlie Sierra. So it shouldn't be too hard to find. Are we uphill? Let's run through our before takeoff on our way out. Hope not that. Brakes are checked. Flaps are set to 18. Flight instruments are checked. Flight directors are on. Trim. We need to set that. Config. Checked. We do not have a wet runway. Cabin. We can let everybody know.
Cabin crew, please take your seats for takeoff.
Weather radar we don't need today. Landing lights. TMS is on and takeoff. Flight controls are unlocked and checked. And we got nothing.
Cabin is secure.
Nothing on the master warning system. Alright, spoilers are moving. We have good controls. Okay, so we're in takeoff, so we advance the throttles until the arrows go out, which indicate that the TMS system servos will take over control. At about 1,500 feet AGL, and we're going to climb out at V2, so 129, 139. So about 140 is you know, no slower than 140 on the climb out. At about 1,500 feet, we'll nose down. We'll speed up to VFTO, which is 172 knots, which is this orange arrow. And at that point, we can retract the flaps. The first officer should call that out. We'll retract the flaps, 210 knots to 10,000 feet, and then we'll accelerate to 250 knots for the rest of the climb. And we'll use IAS mode, and so on. Alright, so let's do this. Let's go into heading. We're in go-around mode. We don't have the autopilot engaged. And also, at 1,500 feet is when we bring it back to sync. And 88% N1 is from 0 to 5,000 feet. We're going to be 5 to 10, so we're going to be at 89%. 90%, 2% each. 5,000 feet. All right, let's hold the brakes. Bring the power up. Four stable engines. For those lights to go out as I slowly advance the thrust levers. There's one, I'm almost out. They're all out. Release the brakes. Steering with the tiller until 80 knots. It should set our power at the 95.2. Power set. $80 knots. I'm on the rudder. V1. Rotate. Right up to that 10 degrees. Positive brake. You're up. Trying to hold 140 knots. And our heading. Might be more like 12 degrees. Fifteen's a little too much. Alright, there's 1,500 feet. Go to sync. Pitch down. That was too much. 88%. 88.2, or 90%, I'm sorry. Put my pitch bar down a little bit. We'll go with 7.5 degrees. That's a little too much. Vertical speed. Autopilot. And now we can also bring our heading around. I want to hold this vertical speed. Just coming up on, creeping up on VFTO. We passed VFTO, the flaps can come up. To 210 knots. There's 210. We can go into IAS mode. Let's continue the turn so we get back to the mile high VOR. I don't know my DME on. There's the airport off our left side. Okay, now we can pitch down. And we can start the acceleration at 250 knots. Go to 92. just a little warm on those temps. We want to be kind of around 840. In fact, what we can do is go to TGT mode, and now it'll try to get to 840. And now we need to head outbound 248. Whoops. So notice in the TGT mode, now it's holding 840. On up to 180, we can arm the altitude. And we can also do our after takeoff checks. It's busy. Landing gear's up, no lights. Flaps are up. TMS is in TGT mode. Engine air we can turn on. APU air we can bring off. And the packs are on, and the aircraft is pressurizing. In fact, you know what? I did not set that on takeoff. We actually want to set the cabin altitude for landing in Aspen, which is 7,800 feet. Climb check, altimeters are set. PTU and AC pump can come off. Seatbelt sign we're going to leave on. Lights are as required. 1,000 to go. I don't have the sync button programmed, I don't believe, so that's why I'm not doing it that way. Alright, there's 18,000 feet. Red table is 13.0. Zero. And we can go to forward look mode. And we've now intercepted J60. Okay, so J60 actually there is a VOR changeover point, which is at the 70 DME mark off of Mile High. Bring the power back. We'll go back to sync mode. Otherwise we're going to get way too fast. So come all the way back to like 85-ish. We're in no hurry. It's a short flight. We got a lot to do in a short amount of time. All right. So now we're slaved off of 2 in the sync mode. So we got sync. N1 is the controlling parameter, and the master is number 2. And you generally select the master as number 2 rather than number 1 because you don't want a lot of power changes taking place farther out from the center of gravity. Bring it up a little bit. 83%. I'm going to go to heading mode. It's hunting around a lot. Not sure why. Okay, now, yeah, we're 70, yes, 39 miles to Red Table. Whoop, it's right here. 70 from Mile High, from Denver, is when we need to switch over to the Red Table VOR. And the inbound course for Red Table is the reciprocal of 63, which is 243. So we could just flip over to VOR 2. And then that'll enable us to get the localizer DME echo approach. .111.5. And we want to be at about 14,000 feet, no lower than 13.4 when we get to Red Table. So 18 to 13.4 is 5,000 feet, 15 miles out. But there's a lot of hills too, so. And then we have a whole bunch of step-down fixes. I'll put it up here on the screen so you can take a look at it. Approach. Loc DME. There it is. Alright. So here's Red Table. It's the initial approach fix. And the only note is that it's not authorized if you're coming at Red Table from radials 175, which is down here, clockwise to 244, and we are coming from this direction. So we'll make the turn 232 to Jargu, and from 232, and it's not very far, it's only 3 miles, so we're going to turn almost right away. And then once we're inside of Jargu, excuse me, we can turn in on the localizer, which will be 151. So we'll think about getting that and descend. So we've got a lot of step-down fixes here. So I'll just leave it up. It's easier to see. I know it sort of interferes with our view, but I'm going to power up a little bit. But yeah, a lot to do in a short amount of time here. So, yeah, this airplane is a definite two-crew airplane, especially when you're not following magenta lines. So 20 miles to our VOR changeover point, in which case 113.0 I have on number 2, so we'll flip this over to nav 2 once we get there, and then that way the number 2 stuff will appear here, and that'll give me a chance to set up the localizer and everything. And we need about 15 miles to descend. And the airport elevation is 7,800 feet. All right. Fun, fun. What do we need to do on our checklist here? We might as well get ready. PTU we can turn on. Pressurization is set. We already did that. PTU is on. Pressurization, we briefed it. We were fine with landing. Altimeters are set. Seatbelt sign is on. We can start the APU. Actually, we never turned it off because it is such a short flight. Brake fans are on auto. Fuel panel, all the fuels are set. We'll warn the cabin of arrival. We've got that set, and anti-ice as required. MDA is, I mean, they're all circled land, so we're at 9840, 2,000 feet. But it's a bluebird day, so I'm not worried about that. And setting a radar altimeter in is not going to hack it. We would bug it if we had a bug on the altimeter, but that's as good as, really as good as we can do. Yeah, I just wish they would... Yeah, they managed to fix it in the F-28, where we have pounds. But they haven't updated that on the 146. Hopefully that's coming. Hopefully that is on their list. Because Air Wisconsin does not operate on kilograms. Whoop. That was a bad stutter. And I just left all the lights on. We're only at 18, so... Alright, there's 70. There's the changeover point. We'll go to number 2. Alright, 111.5. And our inbound course for the approach is 151. We're 35 miles out, so in about 20 miles we'll start down. And now this is the DME off of 2, because I used the switching panel here, so we're pulling off of 2. We can go back to split once I'm ready to turn on to the localizer, which is a turn right after red table. In fact, I kind of want to get slowed up and everything before I get to red table. I want to be at like 14 at red table. So about 12 miles out. Well, we'll call it 15. And then start slowing. Landing. Full flap landing. 118 is 116 is ref. So we'll call it 121. Full flaps. Let's see how it goes. Hey, Navigraph, if you're listening, please leave the labels big. Notice how when you zoom in, they get small. I want them to get larger with the zoom, so I can read them. Anyway, here's where we're coming in from. Red table, turn in. Oh, I didn't change the approach. It sent the localizer to 15. It is approach available, log DME. There we go. Don't want to cheat in. I want as much room as possible. Alright, 20 miles. Let's start down to 14,000. And start slowing. Well, we can go right down to 13.4. Alright, I'm going to power back. And we'll start down. Hold this vertical speed. If I have to, if I'm too high, we can always we can you know, fake it. Just make our own vector, fly past red table, and then come back and intercept this way if we need to. Right? We can always do one of these if we have to. Start slowing up. Just sort of cheating that we can see ourselves. Let's not cheat. Nothing magenta. We're doing this the old-fashioned way. Oh, that's the problem here. I was wondering why 111.15. Let's try that. There we go. 5 miles. We are a little high. Want 13.4, so we're at Jargu at about 13.4. What we can do now. So we have all our power available to us if we need it. Start our turn in. Oh. Ugh. And now we want to keep going down 12.9 all the way down to 98.40. .9 is the next DME. Alright, Stamps 18. Flight director off. .9 down to 12.3. We're still high. 170. I can go to flaps 24. Gear down. Notify the cabin. 7. Okay, now I can go down to 11.7. I'm right on the outer edge of the localizer here.
$2,500.
7.1 DME. I can be on my last descent down to 98.40. Airport's in sight. Use my giant speed brake. Flaps. This is the kind of airport and approach this plane was made for. Steep.
2,500.
Although this is a little bit much of a descent rate that would be comfortable with in real life, but that's because I let myself get a little high. But we are below the minimums now. So we are completely visual. I got 4 white pappies trying to get on the pappy path here. Small control movements. $1,000 check. Should be catching up with the pappy here in a minute. It's too bad they didn't figure out a way to make them turn pink. In real life, they kind of get pink when you're getting close. There's one. They just go right from white to red in the sim.
500.
Alright, there we are. On speed, on path.
Plus 100 minimums. Minimums.
Speed brake out.
50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Alright. We are at idle. Apply brakes. Yeehaw! Our lift spoiler came out. We're on the tiller. Welcome to Aspen. Boy, I wouldn't want to do that in 2 miles visibility. Alright, retract the speed brake. Or the air brake. Flaps up. Let's vacate. And go to our gate. Shoo! That's a fun approach. And a beautiful airport. Well, not bad for having never flown into it. I got configured a little late. I got configured okay, but I got a little high on the approach. That is such a short approach segment. And I was nervous about getting down to, right down to 13.4 at Red Table. I wasn't sure about the terrain in the area, so I wasn't real thrilled about doing that. But anyway. Lights, seatbelts are still on, exit lights are off, we're good. We'll just get ourselves to the parking stand and call it a day. We waddle around on the bumpy taxiway. Love the scenery. Shut down the outboard engines. Where we're gonna go? I forgot to tell GSX where we're parking. So let's select from map. Let's do that. It's kind of a fun way of doing it with GSX now. This is the terminal, right? Yeah, because there's... Yeah, that's the terminal. Let's choose parking 5. Or is that the terminal down there? No, that can't be. This has got to be it. Parking 5. Select. Nope. United. United. Do we have United? Yeah. 1990. There we go. Now we're cooking. Parking spot 5. That was fun. Gosh. I need to do that more. I need to ramp up the weather. And maybe do some research. I gotta pull up some old approach plates, because there had to have been different routings in the days before RNAV. Yeah, I'm not on the line. I don't know where that guy's directing me, but I don't like it. Good enough for me. Parking brake is set. APU air is on. Packs are on. APU gen is on. Engine anti-ice is off. Off. Ice detect can come off. Let's shut it down. Shut it down. Chocks, GPU. We can turn the engine pump off, off, gen, off. And what am I forgetting here? I'm sure a lot. Landing, I got after landing, air brakes and spoilers, flaps are up, flight directors are off, lights and strobes, TMS, I never turned the TMS off. TMS is off, transponder, TA, ignition off, transponder. And the shutdown. Parking brake is on, taxi lights are off, pressurization is all off, 1 and 4 off, thrust levers, fuel off. That's off. Seatbelt sign. Yeah, I need to get that. Seatbelt sign. Stairs. Keyboard. Brake fans are in auto. Fuel pumps. Heaters are all off. Ice detect is off. The beacon light is off. Transponders go to standby. Doors and equipment open. There we go. All right. Let's open the door. Over here. Well, there you are, folks. The BAe 146 from Denver to Aspen. Hey, that was fun. That was really fun. Yeah, we need to do this again. Maybe we'll try Eagle also. I hope you guys had a ball. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was fun. If you've never tried Aspen before, do it. If you've never tried the BAe 146, they had a... they have just released the update, so it's now there's a 2024 native version. But the 2020 version was not forgotten also. Many updates to the 2020 version as well. So if you're not in 2024 yet, no excuse. No excuses. And you can buy it bundled, actually, with the Avro RJ, which is the newer version of this, and a little more updated. Electronic engine instrumentation. Not as much fun. I haven't really flown it much. I kind of prefer this. But, hey, if this intimidates you a little bit, give the Avro RJ a try. But buy it in the bundle with this, so you get some good pricing. Just Flight has done it again. Love their products. Love this. I'm going to take a screenshot real quick. And just a ton of fun. Ton of fun. There's an argument going on over there. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it. I'm CJ. I'm your Classic Jet Sim pilot. Until next time, keep the shiny side up, huh? We'll see you soon.